How's everybody doing? Doing okay?
Yeah.
Feet a little bit sore? Not too bad. These have been nice streets, man. This is nice as far as you should try walking in Philadelphia. Wow.
You guys come down for a minute. We're going to pause for a second. We're almost finished with our... Getting close. Since I can talk without this, but I like the microphone.
I like it. The reason I'm going to stop using this for a minute.
The reason we walk, like I said, this is about action. There's so many, it's so easy to say no. It's easy to be the naysayer when somebody says, hey, let's do this for this person. It's just so easy to be like, oh, come on, we're giving people, we pay our taxes, we do our thing, Why is that important? We're different than any other age group. Every day, we sit on our computers, we talk to people on the other side of the world, we buy goods like that, and we have the ability to make an impact on the things around us one-to-one, more than any group has ever had. It's just a fact. Individual, average people in this country are more powerful than they've ever been. And so the question is, when you see there's a couple huge, massive issues affecting the world. There's many, but there's a few that stand out. One is what's going on in Africa with AIDS, and other parts of the world are being affected by that. For that matter, this country is only protected by its influence. But when you go to Africa, you go, oh my God, it's out of control. It's taking whole generations of people, wiping them out, leaving orphans that have, the age expectancy of 3 years old, that they're going to die because they were born with disease, and grandparents raising them. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen to a continent? And then what happens in India? What happens in China? What happens in, and what happens in this country when we don't decide to make things that are impacting people on the other side of the world our problem? You hate to be too grandiose, but our grandparents didn't, they were forced to have, bombs dropped on Pearl Harbor before they said, oh God, what's going on in Europe? It's kind of a big deal. We should do that. It's the same message, believe it or not. And it's really easy to be like, oh, back 50 years ago, they had really big problems, and there was people that were, there was genocide, and there was, people that were dying. Well, things like in Darfur is an example of stuff that's happening. Genocide is happening today. This is
over 400,000 people in Darfur have died in the last 3 years. They haven't died; they've been killed.
So, the question is whether we decide to look at things around us and say, you know what, we have tools to make an impact today. We're focused on especially AIDS, because I think AIDS is an example of something that silently grows and kills people, and it's the thing that happens to you when you ignore something. And we can begin to make an impact by doing simple things today, by looking at basic ideas of action. We've taken Tom's shoes with us through the whole tour. Tom's is an example of a way that we can begin to make a difference without trying to change the world on our own. Every time you buy a pair of Tom's, they said, you know what, we're just going to give a pair of shoes away every time someone buys a pair of our shoes. Okay? They just said, I'm going to start a shoe company, and I'm going to make giving a part of what I do from the beginning. That's the message that's so powerful, is what ideas do we have? What messages are we going to, what things are we going to come up with? What jobs are we going to take? What things are we going to buy? And how can we begin to face big problems, not with the point of view of, can we go to this big fund? Can we raise enough money? Though that's really important, but we can attack problems from the point of view of, just going to take action.